All right, welcome to today's end of day recap. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group, and wow, what a rally and a nice move back today. So yesterday, and for 2 days, Monday we had the reversal day in the Qs, and then some heavy down day where you had everybody talking about the break of the 50-day moving average in the Qs, but a couple days really doesn't make a whole market, and a nice bounce back today in the Qs. We really didn't see in terms of option activity a ton of call activity in the group. A little bit picking here and there in some names, but just a lot of activity, a lot of call activity, but in a lot of other names. And I don't have my whole recap, option recap done yet, but really it was steel, a lot of steel buying going on, a lot of industrial buying going on. Banks just left and right, call flow going in the banks. A couple different names that caught my eye today. Today's one of those days where your eyes light up because you see a lot of this aggressive call activity and you want to participate in a lot of things. So I ended up just writing down a few names, and I did participate in getting long some things. But one of those days where you just can't buy everything. I like this name. There was 5,000 calls being purchased in OLN. Had a nice day, up 3%, which is basically right when the call buying went up. But real nice move. In terms of in terms of this today, it's got some work to get over the 50-day moving average, but I like this. Is kind of feels like a little bit of a pullback, and of course has more to go. But that was a nice aggressive trade that we saw in this one. The call buying that we saw today, like I said, was just repeat call buying, which is what we've seen for weeks now in U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel still underneath the 50-day moving average, but I also use value areas as my support. So nice break of the value area. I put a trade on today I bought the August calls in X for $1.43 and hit targets as far as $1.80, and then just kind of left the rest on. This group is really getting exciting, with the moves that we've seen in the last week. And one of the things that I talked about in the trading room this morning was iron ore. Besides, I think everybody's been talking about something coming out of Washington, right? I don't like to just buy things just because of there's some type of political catalyst. Iron ore has been down pretty decently from hitting a high back in February of 650, and so still underneath the moving averages, but it has been basing here for all of June and started to tick up a little bit. So that was why I kind of, went into and really started to look at some steel names, which again, we've been seeing call buying now for the last couple of weeks. We talked about that big MT call buyer on last Friday. That went for better than a triple, I believe, in MT. So, we've been seeing just spots of call buying in this group. So what did I do besides the US Steel today? I actually went long in cash. So if you look at the SLX ETF, again, there is a steel ETF. This has a little bit of everything, not just U.S. names, but not the STLD. STLD was another name that saw call buying today, but not just STLD, Nucor, U.S. Steel, and AKS, but also names like Rio. You can actually see. I'll bring this up. So you got Rio in here, you got TX, you got Vale, you got TS in there again. As I said, PKX, which is another name we were just actually looking at. So, complete international steel ETF going on here. And, this is easy for me. It's easy because if it doesn't work and it breaks back below the 200-day moving average, I'm out, right? So I put that trade on. A couple other trades that we looked at today. I'm not going to reveal everything that we did today, but you have to be a member for that. Autodesk, nice catch of the 50-day moving average. This was brought up by a member today, so we structured a trade around Autodesk today. And what else did we see? We saw some nice call buying in LUK. This is a name that Jeffries is a part of. They had their earnings, which you could see two big down days, but has recaptured that right away. I shot a video last week. My trade idea last week was SPGI, which is a play on ETFs. and real nice move today. So up 1.9%. Banks were really strong again today. The biotechs came back as well today. So you had one big down day in biotechs. You had a chance to kind of buy them. We were talking about this pre-market. So basically what we do in the morning after a sell-off or after any days, we kind of look at some support. I don't know what this is after the close, but the level for me in XBI was to see if this thing was going to kind of turn the corner was 78.21. So real nice move in biotech, ended the day up 2.5%, almost back to where we basically started the day in that sell-off yesterday. Same thing in Qs. Same thing in Qs. Right off the bat, there was a little bit of strength in the Qs pre-market. And I said all along, 138.62 was my level to kind of watch today, and we started to back away, and it was almost a day. Same thing with the semis, which I've been watching as well. But we real nice power move into value area, and we never really looked back. So, there is what's known as an 80% rule with these value areas. It's once you're firmly in the value area, there's an 80% chance that you can go all the way from the beginning to the end. So we saw that today in the Qs, completed the that move, and I think a couple other areas did that as well. Nvidia, all the way through the value area as well, and actually got above it. So real nice move there. The FANG stocks, which we saw a little bit of buying in Facebook. Facebook again, all the way through the value area as well. So the main thing that I watch again is for a move into value. So we saw some Facebook call buyers right at the end of the day yesterday. Was one of the few names in technology that we saw call buyers at the end of the day, and we also saw a little bit like literally right after today's open. SMH, same thing, looked a little bit troublesome this morning. Didn't really do much, and then started to go lower again, and you had a nice reversal on this bar, and things started to brighten up from there. If I didn't make mention of it, the market breadth was extremely positive today, just across the board. Anytime you have dark green like this, it's full participation, and we just haven't seen one of those days until maybe it was the beginning of Monday where we saw that. So covered steel names, which were really strong. XME, which besides, if you don't want to play straight steel, this is also now above the 200-day, back above the 200-day moving average. So I was in an XME trade here and got stopped out of it here. I decided not to go back into this. I decided to go into steel. So I kind of made a decision on what to do here. So this could work as well, going long XME, which is both steel names and some mining names as well in that ETF. So you have a lot of gold miners in here as well. What else? Gold miners, speaking of those were pretty strong today as well. Those were up 1%. Gold was basically flat today. Bonds were down again, down another 30 basis points. But I see just a full participation in groups. The only thing that was kind of close to the only thing that was down on the day was utilities, right? So pure risk on day today. The REITs were also right around flat for the day, but basically all the other sectors were mostly up at least 0.5% today, and then small caps. Well, it's a couple more areas. Small caps, quietly have just been kind of going sideways after this break higher. A couple of weeks ago they looked pretty vulnerable to breaking down. A nice reversal, nice move, and they've kind of just been slow, but they've continued to move the right way. Another group is transports. Transports really positive today. Not a 52-week high yet, but very strong looking. They had 1 or 2 days that were kind of down, but looking pretty strong. We saw a nice, and this was in the weekend note, but UNP. Take a look at this name. Like I said, you can't take every trade, even if there's higher than normal call activity. But this name is just kind of sitting on the 100-day moving average, right below the 50-day moving average. So second time that we've seen some call buying and long dated call buying, or further out call buying, I should say, in UNP. This was a nice aggressive trade. It's just 750 contracts, but look at the price. So nice $400,000 trade. Very similar, I think, to what we saw on Friday. I believe late in the day Friday we saw some call buying there. What else is on my list to talk about today? I'm not really going to go through the FANG stocks too much. I mean, they had a nice recovery. as negative as everybody was on the Qs breaking down, not much of a breakdown for Amazon. Still kind of the picture remains to be seen, like if this is going to, break out to another 52-week high, but the trend is still up here, so no major violation of the trend. I would also watch this red. We're going to be done with the we're going to be run excuse me we're going to be done with the June value areas very quickly. But one thing that you notice, we have a developing July value area, and it continues to have a higher value area every month. So Google also had a nice recovery today, found some support, basically where it kind of hit about a month ago at this point, or maybe in the beginning of the month. So kind of hit that support, and also reclaiming of the 50-day moving average. So I don't know what people are going to talk about tonight on Twitter, how many times the 50-day moving average was violated and then reclaimed. I don't know. I didn't really like how we finished yesterday with the VIX on the highs. So I didn't add a ton of things on the close yesterday, but I just can't believe we're back. We're right back to a 10. We actually got a little bit lower in the VIX today. So, I didn't do a ton of buying on the close yesterday because I just didn't like how the VIX finished on the highs yesterday. But I'll tell you what, we got into some trades this morning, right when we started to turn up. So some really good trades that we put out there today. So that's it for today's recap, and see you guys back. Tomorrow is, I don't mean to sound, there's two more things. Forgot one other thing that I thought was really interesting today. And I don't know exactly why, but there was a bunch of put buying going on in a bunch of the mortgage finance names. So there is a mortgage REIT ETF out there. It's been especially strong. We've talked about NLY. Keep an eye on this group. So this is the REM ETF, and there was put buying in a bunch of these names. There was put buying, I think it was BXMT, MTGE investments, MFA. There was, I'll show you a couple of these. You have to be in the room to kind of see this activity. But there was 9,000 of the August puts going up for 15 cents. MTGE, 5,000 of these. So it's just like, but there's about 5 different names all in this space that all saw put buying. I don't know if it's because of its move in rates. One thing that I've noticed, I made a little bit of connection, put my tinfoil hat on, I guess you would say, and looked at the move in LIBOR. Maybe this is not so good for adjustable rate mortgages. They're going to cost more. Still, some people buy 30-year mortgages, which aren't really going to be affected by what's going on in rates right now. But the short term, which is tied to LIBOR, I believe it's actually tied to the prime rate. Look at the move in LIBOR that's been going on, which is good for the banks. But I don't know so much for these mortgage names, mortgage finance names. So it's gone up just basically from the last year. It's the LIBOR rate has basically doubled. So something kind of interesting to look at. And what I would suggest, or what I'll be doing, I didn't take any puts in any of these mortgage finance names, but I put alerts to see if they start to break down. And there I will possibly look to put something on. But so that's it for today's recap. Thanks very much. It is going to be quarter end in a couple days, so I also wouldn't be surprised if we get more volatility the rest of the week. Maybe that's what we saw a little bit of yesterday, but also wouldn't be surprised if we get that going into quarter end. All right. Thanks very much. And is it quarter end? Yeah, it's the 30th. So yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great night. See you tomorrow morning.